The coffee in the break room was bitter, but Jessica Carter barely noticed. She was too busy running her mouth. "I'm just saying," she whispered to Rachel, leaning against the counter, 3 years and not one date. Not one woman at any company event. The man is either married to his work or he's just not interested in women. Rachel giggled nervously. "Jess, you can't just assume that because someone dresses well and knows about design, they're gay. It's not just that." Jessica's voice dropped lower. "Last month he spent 20 minutes discussing thread counts with the decorator." "Thread counts, Rachel. And did you see his office? That's not a straight man's office. That's museum-quality curation. What else could it be?" Vanessa chimed in from the doorway. Jessica shrugged, adjusting her glasses. "Maybe he's just unavailable. Emotionally closed off. Damaged goods. Either way, Ethan Blackwell is not someone any of us should waste time fantasizing about." "Is that what you tell yourself?" The voice came from directly behind her. Deep. Controlled. Laced with something sharp. Jessica's blood turned to ice. She turned slowly to find Ethan standing in the doorway, his charcoal suit immaculate, his dark eyes fixed on her with an intensity that made her stomach drop. His jaw was tight, but his expression remained eerily calm. Rachel fled. Vanessa disappeared. The break room emptied in seconds. Jessica stood alone with her boss, her coffee cup trembling in her hand. "My office," Ethan said quietly. 10 minutes. He turned and walked away, leaving Jessica drowning in the suffocating silence. Those 10 minutes felt like 10 seconds. When she knocked on his door, her palms were slick with sweat. "Come in." She stepped inside. Ethan stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows, hands in his pockets, silhouetted against the Manhattan skyline. His office was everything she'd mocked. Sleek. Beautiful. Controlled. "Close the door." She obeyed. "The Morrison campaign," he said without turning. "I reviewed your proposal. Excellent work." Jessica blinked. "Thank you, sir. You have a gift." He finally turned to face her. "You understand what people want before they know it themselves. It's why I value you." She waited for the hammer to fall. "But I'm curious," Ethan continued, moving closer. "Do you always speculate about your employer's personal life? Or am I special?" Heat flooded her cheeks. "Mr. Blackwell, I'm sorry. That was unprofessional and Why does it matter to you?" He stopped 3 feet away. "My personal life. Why invest so much energy into theories about who I am or who I'm attracted to? I don't understand. Don't you?" His eyes locked onto hers. People who obsess over making someone unavailable in their minds usually do it for a reason. They're protecting themselves from something. Or someone. Jessica's breath caught. "Are you protecting yourself from me, Jessica?" The air between them felt electric. Dangerous. "I think I should go," she whispered. "Answer the question first." She looked up at him, really looked, and saw something in his expression she'd never noticed before. Something raw. Hungry. Barely restrained. "I don't know," she breathed. Ethan's mouth curved into the faintest smile. "Liar." He stepped back, the professional mask sliding back into place. "The charity gala is next Friday. I need someone who can network with potential clients. You'll attend as my guest. Consider it professional development." Jessica's mind reeled. "You want me to go with you? Formal attire. I'll pick you up at 7. He returned to his desk. "That's all." She turned toward the door, her legs barely holding her. "Jessica." She froze. "If you're curious about my personal life," he said softly, "ask me directly next time. The truth might surprise you." The door closed behind her, and Jessica stood in the hallway, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might break through her ribs. What had just happened? And why did it feel like everything was about to change? The emerald green gown clung to Jessica's body like liquid silk. She'd spent money she didn't have on it, telling herself it was just professional preparation. The lie tasted bitter. When the black car pulled up at 7 sharp, her breath stopped. Ethan stepped out in a classic black tuxedo, and Jessica forgot every assumption she'd ever made about him. He moved like a panther, graceful and dangerous, his dark eyes sweeping over her with an intensity that made her skin burn. Jessica. His voice was lower than usual. You look devastating. Not beautiful. Not pretty. Devastating. Thank you, she managed. You look handsome. He offered his arm, a slight smile playing at his lips. Shall we? I promise to make this evening worth your while. The Metropolitan Museum had been transformed into a cathedral of glass and light. Crystal chandeliers threw prisms across marble floors. Women in couture gowns glided past like elegant ghosts. Ethan's hand rested on the small of her back, possessive and warm, as he guided her through the crowd. Ethan. A silver-haired man approached with a politician's smile. Good to see you. And who is this stunning creature? George Hammond, this is Jessica Carter. My marketing director. Director. Not coordinator. Jessica's eyes snapped to Ethan's face. Director? George raised an eyebrow. I thought Sarah was your director. Sarah resigned last week, Ethan said smoothly. Jessica's been effectively running the department for 6 months. I'm just making it official. Jessica's heart hammered. This was the first she'd heard of it. George chatted about investments and market shares, but Jessica barely heard. When he finally left, she turned to Ethan. Director? You didn't tell me Sarah resigned. I'm telling you now. He plucked 2 champagne flutes from a passing waiter and handed her one. The promotion comes with a 30% raise and a corner office. Congratulations. Ethan, I don't understand. Why now? Why like this? His jaw tightened. Because you earned it. And because I'm done pretending. Pretending what? Before he could answer, a woman's voice cut through the air like a blade. Ethan Blackwell. Still breaking hearts, I see. Jessica turned to find a stunning brunette in a blood-red gown approaching. Her smile was sharp enough to draw blood. Ethan's entire body went rigid. Natalie. It's been what? 2 years? The woman's green eyes slid to Jessica with predatory interest. And who is this? Another temporary distraction? Natalie, leave. Ethan's voice was cold steel. Oh, come on. Don't be rude. Natalie moved closer to Jessica, her perfume overwhelming. Did he tell you about me? About us? About what he did? That's enough. Ethan stepped between them. But Natalie laughed, cruel and bright. She doesn't know, does she? Poor thing. Let me guess. He's been all mysterious and intense. Made you feel special. Made you think you were different. Jessica's stomach twisted. You're not different, sweetheart, Natalie continued. You're just another name on a very long list. Ethan Blackwell doesn't do relationships. He does acquisitions. And once he owns you, he destroys you. Get out, Ethan said quietly. Now. Why? Afraid she'll learn the truth? Natalie's smile turned vicious. That you're the one who leaked my father's company's secrets to the press? That you ruined my family to win a business deal? That you're not some misunderstood prince, you're a monster in a tailored suit? Jessica felt the ground shift beneath her feet. Ethan's face had gone white. That's not what happened. Isn't it? Natalie leaned close to Jessica. Ask him about the Henderson merger. Ask him what he did to my father's company. Then ask yourself if you really want to be his next victim. She walked away, leaving a wake of poison. Jessica turned to Ethan slowly. Is it true? It's complicated. Is it true? His dark eyes met hers, and for the first time, she saw something broken behind them. Something wounded and dangerous and utterly human. Yes, he said finally. I destroyed her father's company. But not for the reasons she thinks. Then why? Ethan set down his champagne glass with a click that sounded like a gunshot. Because he was trafficking women through his shipping containers. Because the authorities needed evidence and I was the only one who could get close enough to find it. Because sometimes, Jessica, doing the right thing means becoming the villain. The air left Jessica's lungs. I lost everything, Ethan continued, his voice raw. My reputation. My relationship with Natalie. Half my investors. But 23 women went home to their families because of what I did. So yes, I'm a monster. But I'm a monster with a conscience. Jessica stared at him, her mind reeling. Why didn't you defend yourself? Why let everyone believe you're heartless? Because the truth would have compromised an ongoing investigation. And because some secrets are more important than my reputation. He stepped closer. But I'm telling you now because I'm tired of hiding. Tired of pretending I don't feel things I shouldn't feel. Tired of watching you create theories about me to keep yourself safe. Safe from what? From this. And then Ethan Blackwell kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate and hungry and tasted like champagne and secrets. His hands cupped her face like she was something precious, something breakable, and Jessica felt 3 years of walls crumble into dust. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against hers. I'm damaged goods, Jessica, he whispered. Everything Natalie said about me destroying what I touch is true. So if you walk away right now, I won't stop you. But if you stay, I need you to understand what you're getting into. Jessica's hands fisted in his lapels. Show me, she breathed. Show me who you really are. Ethan's smile was beautiful and broken. Careful what you wish for. He took her hand and led her toward the exit, leaving the gala and its glittering lies behind. Jessica followed, knowing with absolute certainty that nothing would ever be the same. And she didn't care. 3 weeks of stolen moments. 3 weeks of secrets whispered in darkened offices after everyone went home. 3 weeks of Jessica falling deeper into something that felt like drowning and flying at the same time. Ethan's apartment was everything she expected. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. Modern art. Expensive furniture that probably cost more than her yearly salary. But it was the small things that broke her. The worn copy of poetry on his nightstand. The photos hidden in a drawer of a younger Ethan with an older woman who had his eyes. His mother, he'd told her quietly. Dead 5 years from cancer. I bought this place after she died, he said one night, standing at the window with a glass of whiskey. Spent a fortune filling it with beautiful things. Thought it would make me feel less empty. Jessica came up behind him, wrapping her arms around his waist. Did it work? No. He turned to face her, his hands sliding into her hair. Not until you. The words should have felt romantic. Instead, they felt like a warning. At work, they maintained the pretense. Director and CEO. Professional and distant. But everyone knew. Jessica could see it in Rachel's concerned glances. In Vanessa's knowing smirks. In the way the other executives watched them in meetings. It was Troy who finally cornered her in the break room. Jess, I need to talk to you. She looked up from her phone. Troy's face was pale, his usual easy smile gone. What's wrong? It's about Ethan. He glanced around nervously. About the Morrison campaign. Jessica's stomach tightened. What about it? I've been working late, right? Trying to finish the Henderson account. And I saw something I shouldn't have. Troy pulled out his phone, hands shaking. Email correspondence between Ethan and Morrison. From before you pitched the campaign. He showed her the screen. Jessica read the words once. Twice. Her blood turned to ice. We'll have her pitch the campaign we've already agreed on. Make her think it was her idea. The promotion will keep her distracted and grateful. She won't question anything else. The date stamp was from 3 months ago. I don't understand, Jessica whispered. There's more. Troy scrolled through more emails. The director position. Sarah didn't resign. Ethan forced her out. He's been planning this for months, Jess. The promotion. The gala. All of it. The room spun. Why would he do that? Troy's face filled with pity. Keep reading. Her eyes found the next email. This one to George Hammond. Jessica Carter has access to her father's medical research files. Once I have her trust, getting the data will be simple. The cancer treatment patents alone are worth billions. She doesn't even know what she has. The phone slipped from Jessica's numb fingers. Her father. Dr. Richard Carter. Dead 3 years from the same cancer that had killed Ethan's mother. His research had died with him, locked away in encrypted files Jessica had never bothered to access because she didn't understand the science. Research worth billions. Jess, I'm so sorry. Troy caught her as her knees buckled. But you need to confront him. You need to know the truth. She barely remembered getting to Ethan's office. Barely remembered the way his face lit up when she walked in, how quickly that light died when he saw her expression. Jessica, what's wrong? My father's research. Her voice sounded foreign. Hollow. That's what this is about. That's what I am to you. The color drained from Ethan's face. Who told you that? Does it matter? She threw the printed emails onto his desk. It's true, isn't it? All of it. The promotion. The gala. Making me fall in love with you. It was all just a way to get access to files I didn't even know I had. Jessica, let me explain. Explain what? Her voice cracked. That you lied to me? That you manipulated me? That everything you said about being damaged and broken and tired of hiding was just another performance? No. Ethan moved toward her but she stepped back, and the pain that flashed across his face almost made her falter. Almost. The emails are real, he said finally. I won't insult you by denying it. But they're old. From before I knew you. Before I understood what you'd become to me. What I'd become. Jessica laughed, sharp and bitter. A convenient target? An easy mark? The woman I fell in love with. The words hung in the air like a grenade. No. She shook her head. No, you don't get to say that. You don't get to make this into something it's not. I was a business transaction. Just like Natalie said. You acquire and you destroy and you move on. Jessica, please. Did you even care? Her voice broke. About any of it? Or was I just another problem to solve? Another deal to close? Ethan's hands clenched into fists. Everything I told you about my mother, about destroying the Hammond Company, about being tired of pretending. All of that was real. But not this. Not us. Silence. I'm resigning, Jessica said quietly. Effective immediately. And I want you to stay away from me. From my father's files. From everything. Jessica. Don't. She held up her hand. Don't make this harder than it already is. She turned to leave, vision blurred with tears. Your father came to me, Ethan said suddenly. 6 months before he died. He found out about my mother's cancer. He wanted to share his research because he knew he was dying and didn't want it to die with him. He asked me to promise I'd find someone who could understand it. Someone who could finish his work. Jessica froze at the door. He told me about you, Ethan continued, his voice raw. About how smart you were. How stubborn. How much you looked like your mother. He made me promise to protect you. To make sure his life's work didn't fall into the wrong hands. You're lying. I have the letter he wrote. It's in my safe. He signed it the day before he died. Jessica's hands trembled on the doorknob. Even if that's true, she whispered, it doesn't change what you did. You used me. Manipulated me. Made me fall in love with you as part of a plan. I know. Ethan's voice cracked. And I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But Jessica, the reason I stopped, the reason I couldn't go through with it, is because somewhere along the way, you stopped being the mission. You became the only thing that mattered. She looked back at him. At this man who'd shown her his scars and his secrets. This man who was either the best liar she'd ever met or the most broken. I don't know if I can believe you, she said. I know. I don't know if I can forgive you. I know that too. But I need time. Space. I need to figure out what's real and what was just another move in your game. Ethan nodded, his jaw tight. Take all the time you need. But Jessica, know this, I will spend every day for the rest of my life proving that what we have is real. Even if you never believe me. Even if you never come back. Jessica walked out of his office, out of the building, out of the life she'd built for 3 years. And she didn't look back. Not even when she heard the sound of something shattering against the wall behind her. 2 months of silence. 2 months of Jessica living in her father's old house in Connecticut, surrounded by his papers and research she was finally starting to understand. 2 months of Ethan honoring his promise to stay away. Until the night her phone rang at 2 a.m. Jessica Carter? An unfamiliar voice. Official. Cold. Yes? This is Detective Martinez with the Manhattan Police Department. We need you to come to Mount Sinai Hospital immediately. It's regarding Ethan Blackwell. Her heart stopped. What happened? There's been an incident. He's asking for you. Jessica made the drive in 90 minutes. Broke every speed limit. Her hands white-knuckled on the steering wheel as worst-case scenarios played through her mind. The hospital was a maze of fluorescent lights and antiseptic smells. Detective Martinez met her in the waiting room. Mid-40s. Tired eyes. A badge that had seen too much. Miss Carter. Thank you for coming. What happened to him? Mr. Blackwell was attacked in his apartment 3 hours ago. 2 assailants. He's stable now, but he was badly beaten. He refused treatment until we contacted you. Jessica's legs nearly gave out. Why would someone attack him? The detective's expression darkened. That's what we're trying to determine. But Miss Carter, I need to ask you something. Do you know anything about the Hammond shipping investigation from 2 years ago? The name hit her like a physical blow. Natalie Hammond's father. Yes. Victor Hammond was released from federal prison last week on a technicality. Someone high up made evidence disappear. We believe he's targeting everyone involved in his conviction. Jessica's blood turned to ice. Ethan testified against him. Mr. Blackwell was the key witness. And now someone's trying to silence him. Martinez handed her a card. He's in room 412. But Miss Carter, you need to understand something. Whoever did this isn't finished. If you go in there, if you involve yourself with him again, you become a target too. Jessica took the card. I understand. Do you? The detective's eyes were hard. Because Victor Hammond is a very dangerous man. And he doesn't leave loose ends. Where is he? Room 412. Jessica found him propped against sterile white pillows, his face a mess of bruises and cuts. His left arm was in a sling. Dark stitches lined his cheekbone. But his eyes, those dark eyes that had haunted her dreams for 2 months, locked onto hers the moment she walked in. Jessica. His voice was rough. Broken. You came. Of course I came, you idiot. She pulled a chair to his bedside, hands shaking. What happened? Hammond sent a message. 2 guys jumped me in my apartment. Would have been worse if my doorman hadn't called the police. Why didn't you call me? Ethan's laugh was bitter. You told me to stay away. I was trying to respect that. Even when you're bleeding in a hospital bed? Especially then. His good hand reached for hers. Jessica, you need to leave. Hammond knows about you now. About your father's research. If he finds out what we almost had, he'll use you to get to me. Let him try. I'm serious. Ethan's grip tightened. This isn't a game. Victor Hammond trafficked women and murdered anyone who got in his way. He spent 2 years in prison planning his revenge. I won't let him hurt you because of my mistakes. Your mistakes? Jessica stared at him. You took down a monster. You saved lives. That's not a mistake. I made you a target. No, Ethan. I made myself a target the moment I fell in love with you. And for the record, I never stopped. The machines monitoring his heart beeped faster. Jessica. I read the letter, she interrupted. From my father. I found it in his papers. You were telling the truth. About all of it. Ethan's eyes closed. I should have told you from the beginning. Yes, you should have. You should have trusted me. But I understand why you didn't. She leaned closer. My father wrote that he saw something in you. Something good underneath all the armor. He was right. I don't feel very good right now. Good people rarely do. Jessica brushed his hair back gently. Detective Martinez told me Hammond's after everyone involved in his conviction. That means you, the prosecutors, the investigators. How many people are in danger? 12. Most have protection. But the lead prosecutor, Sarah Chen, she's missing. Martinez thinks Hammond took her. Jessica's mind raced. Sarah. The same Sarah who was director before me? Ethan's face went pale. Jessica, no. Whatever you're thinking, no. Sarah's in danger because of the Hammond case. A case you built. That makes her your responsibility. She's the FBI's responsibility now. Then why does she look so much like me? The question hung in the air like poison. Ethan's jaw clenched. What are you talking about? I saw her photo in your office once. Brown hair, glasses, similar build. You hired her 2 years ago, right after Hammond was convicted. Right after Natalie left you. Jessica's voice went cold. You hired someone who looked like me before you even knew me. Why? That's not. Why, Ethan? He looked away. Your father showed me your picture. When he asked me to find you after he died. To protect you. I guess, subconsciously, I was already looking for you. Sarah was never supposed to be more than an employee. But I saw her and I thought. You thought she could be a substitute until you found the real thing. Jessica, I didn't. Save it. She stood up. Hammond has her because of you. Because she had the misfortune of looking like the woman you were obsessed with. That's not a coincidence. That's a message. Detective Martinez appeared in the doorway. Miss Carter. We need to talk. She followed him into the hall. Martinez's face was grim. We found Sarah Chen's location. Warehouse in Red Hook. Hammond's holding her there, but we can't move in. He's got the building rigged with explosives. One wrong move and everyone inside dies. What does he want? He wants Ethan Blackwell. In exchange for Sarah and safe passage out of the country. Jessica's stomach dropped. You can't let Ethan go there. He can barely walk. We're not letting him anywhere. But Hammond gave us 2 hours. After that, he starts killing hostages. Martinez's eyes were hard. Miss Carter, I need to know. Is there anything about your father's research that would interest a man like Hammond? The question was a punch to the gut. My father was developing a treatment for aggressive cancers. But his research could be weaponized. Modified to accelerate cellular degradation instead of preventing it. A biological weapon. In the wrong hands, yes. Martinez cursed under his breath. Hammond doesn't want revenge. He wants leverage. Your father's research would make him untouchable. He can't have it. Then we need to give him something else he wants. Martinez looked back toward Ethan's room. Something he wants more than revenge. Jessica's blood ran cold as understanding dawned. No. Absolutely not. You look like Sarah Chen. Hammond thinks Blackwell cares about her. But if he believes Blackwell cares about you more, that you have access to the research, he'll take the trade. You want to use me as bait. I want to save innocent lives. Martinez stepped closer. Miss Carter, I won't lie to you. This is dangerous. Potentially lethal. But you're the only leverage we have that Hammond might value more than revenge. Ethan will never agree to this. That's why we're not telling him until it's too late. Jessica looked through the window at Ethan lying in that hospital bed. Broken and beautiful and desperately trying to protect everyone he cared about, even at the cost of his own life. He'd spent 2 years carrying the weight of destroying Hammond's empire. 2 years living with the guilt of making Natalie hate him. 2 years punishing himself for crimes that weren't his fault. She'd spent 2 months hating him for manipulating her. But standing in this hallway, looking at the man who'd tried to honor her father's dying wish even when it cost him everything, Jessica finally understood. Love wasn't about grand gestures. It was about impossible choices. About becoming someone you never thought you'd be for someone you never thought you'd meet. I'll do it, she said quietly. But I have conditions. Martinez nodded. Name them. You don't tell Ethan until I'm already there. You protect Sarah Chen no matter what happens to me. And if something goes wrong, if Hammond kills me, you make sure my father's research is destroyed. All of it. I won't let it become a weapon. Miss Carter. Those are my terms. Take them or find another solution. Martinez studied her for a long moment. Then extended his hand. You're a brave woman. No. Jessica shook his hand, her heart hammering. I'm just someone who finally understands what my father was trying to teach me. Some things are worth dying for. She turned back toward Ethan's room. Where are you going? To say goodbye. Her voice cracked. Without him knowing it's goodbye. She walked into room 412, fixed her expression into something calm, and went to kiss the man she loved one last time. Jessica? Ethan's eyes searched hers. What's wrong? Nothing. She forced a smile. Everything's going to be fine. I promise. It was the first lie she'd ever told him. And as she walked out of that hospital into the cold New York night, following Detective Martinez to a warehouse where a monster waited, Jessica Carter hoped it would be the last. The warehouse smelled like rust and betrayal. Jessica stood in the center of the vast space, hands zip-tied behind her back, surrounded by shadows and the mechanical breathing of Victor Hammond's hired killers. The older man himself sat on a metal chair 20 feet away, gray hair slicked back, expensive suit immaculate despite the decay surrounding him. He looked nothing like a monster. He looked like someone's grandfather. That was what made him so dangerous. "Miss Carter." His voice was cultured. Refined. "Thank you for joining us. Though I suspect you didn't have much choice." Jessica kept her face neutral, even as her heart hammered against her ribs. Behind Hammond, she could see Sarah Chen tied to a support beam. Alive. Terrified. But alive. "Where's Blackwell?" Hammond checked his watch. "Your detective friend promised me a trade. He's in the hospital. Recovering from the beating your thugs gave him." "Pity." Hammond stood, approaching her with measured steps. "I was hoping to watch his face when I killed you. But I suppose sending him your body will have to suffice. You're not getting my father's research." "Oh, I know. Martinez told me about your conditions." "Very noble." His smile was serpentine. "But you see, Miss Carter, I don't need the research anymore. What I need is to send a message. Ethan Blackwell took everything from me. My company. My reputation. 2 years of my life. Now I'm going to take everything from him." The cold logic of it hit Jessica like a physical blow. This was never about the research. It was never about leverage. Hammond wanted Ethan to suffer the way he'd suffered. And she was the weapon that would destroy him. "He'll come," she said quietly. "When he finds out I'm here, he'll come for me. You know he will. I'm counting on it." Hammond gestured to one of his men, who moved toward Sarah. "In fact, let's give him some additional motivation." "Wait." Jessica's voice cracked. "If you hurt her, you lose your leverage. You lose everything." "Do I?" Hammond tilted his head. "Because from where I'm standing, I have exactly what I need. 2 women Blackwell cares about. 2 chances to break him. The math seems solid to me." The sound of a safety clicking off echoed through the warehouse. And then the lights went out. Chaos erupted. Gunfire. Shouting. The percussion of flashbangs that turned the world into strobing nightmare. Jessica hit the ground hard, her zip-tied hands useless as bodies rushed past her in the darkness. Then strong hands were cutting through the plastic restraints, pulling her to her feet. "Move." Martinez's voice in her ear. "Now." But Jessica wasn't listening. Through the chaos, she could see Hammond dragging Sarah toward the exit, a gun pressed to the woman's temple. "Jessica, we have to go. He has Sarah. SWAT will handle it." Except SWAT was pinned down by Hammond's men. And Hammond was already at the door. Already escaping. Jessica did the only thing she could think of. She ran straight at him. "Hammond." He turned, and for one brief second, his attention shifted from Sarah to Jessica. 1 second was all the other woman needed. Sarah drove her elbow back into Hammond's ribs, twisting away from the gun. The weapon went off. Jessica felt the impact before she felt the pain. A burning sensation that spread through her shoulder like wildfire. She stumbled, vision blurring, and heard someone screaming her name. Not Martinez. Ethan. He came through the warehouse entrance like an avenging angel, hospital gown replaced by tactical gear, his injured arm forgotten as he charged toward Hammond. The older man tried to aim his weapon, but Ethan was faster. Stronger. Angrier. The fight was brutal and brief. Ethan's fist connected with Hammond's jaw with enough force to drop him like a stone. Then he was on him, hands around his throat, and Jessica saw murder in his eyes. "Ethan, stop." Her voice was weak, blood seeping through her fingers as she clutched her shoulder. "Don't." He's not worth it. For a terrible moment, she thought he wouldn't listen. Thought he'd cross that final line and become the monster everyone accused him of being. But then his hands loosened. He stepped back, letting Martinez's team move in to arrest Hammond. And then he was running to her, dropping to his knees, his hands gentle as they assessed her wound. Jessica. God, Jessica, stay with me. I'm okay. She tried to smile. Shoulder wound. I'll live. You shouldn't be here. Martinez said you were safe. Said you'd agreed to stay behind. I lied. Blood loss was making her lightheaded. Seems to be going around. You could have died. So could you. That's what love is, isn't it? Being willing to die for someone even when they don't deserve it? Ethan's face crumpled. You deserve everything. And I've given you nothing but pain. That's not true. Jessica reached up with her good hand, touching his face. You gave me purpose. Showed me what my father's work really meant. Helped me understand that sometimes the people who look like villains are just people trying to survive their own stories. I manipulated you. Used you. At first, yes. But Ethan, people change. You changed. I watched it happen. She coughed, tasting copper. The man who planned to use me died the moment he actually met me. I know that now. Paramedics swarmed around them, but Ethan refused to let her go. I love you, he said desperately. I know I don't deserve to say it. I know I have no right to ask for forgiveness. But I love you, Jessica Carter. I think I've loved you since the moment your father showed me your picture and told me you were too stubborn to quit anything you started. Jessica laughed, even though it hurt. That's the worst declaration of love I've ever heard. It's the only one I've got. Then I guess I'll take it. She pulled him close, ignoring the protests from the paramedics. But Ethan, if we do this, if we try to make this work, no more lies. No more secrets. No more protecting me from the truth. I promise. And you have to let me read my father's research. Let me decide what to do with it. It's yours. It was always yours. Good. She felt consciousness slipping. Because I'm donating it to every cancer research facility in the world. Open source. Free. The way he would have wanted. Jessica. No more weapons. No more leverage. Just hope. Her eyes fluttered closed. That's what he was trying to create. Hope. The world went dark, but she wasn't afraid. She could feel Ethan's arms around her, hear his voice calling her name, and knew with absolute certainty that this time, this broken, complicated, morally gray man would be there when she woke up. 6 months later, Jessica stood in Ethan's apartment, now their apartment, watching the sun set over Central Park. The bullet wound had healed into a scar she wore like a badge of honor. Her father's research had been distributed worldwide, already showing promising results in clinical trials. Victor Hammond was serving 3 consecutive life sentences. Sarah Chen had been promoted to regional director at the FBI. And Ethan Blackwell had finally stopped punishing himself for crimes that were never his to bear. You're thinking too loud, Ethan said, coming up behind her and wrapping his arms around her waist. I'm thinking about my father. About how he knew we'd end up here. He was a smart man. He was a romantic. Jessica turned in his arms. He believed broken people could heal each other. That love wasn't about perfection, it was about choosing someone every day despite their flaws. And do you? Choose me? She looked at this man who'd lied to her, manipulated her, almost gotten her killed, and somehow became the person she couldn't imagine living without. Every single day, she said. Even when you're being impossible. I'm never impossible. You're literally always impossible. Ethan smiled, that rare, genuine smile that still made her heart stutter. Then I guess you're stuck with me. I guess I am. He kissed her as the sun painted the sky in shades of fire and gold. And Jessica Carter, daughter of a dreamer, lover of a broken man, survivor of her own story, finally understood what her father had been trying to tell her all along. Some things were worth fighting for. Some people were worth saving. And some love stories didn't have fairy tale endings. They had real ones. Complicated. Messy. Imperfect. Beautiful. Real. The end.